And this is your walkthrough for week 5, which is the last week in your Exploring Your Personality, module 2. So let's go ahead and go in and see what you're going to be doing this last week. Whoa. Okay, so let's click in here in our agenda and see. So in this week, you're going to be, and make sure you read this, we're going to be using assessments based off of the Myers-Briggs type indicator, okay? Unfortunately, the real official assessment costs a lot of money to take, so we're going to be using some fairly good, I would say, I don't want to say knockoffs, that's not really what they are because they're their own assessments in and of themselves. But anyways, you're going to be using what we call the 16 personalities and type finder. And then I'm going to be giving you some applications of those assessments. So let's see. Here you go. So you notice this week you don't have a discussion. Make sure that you watch the video lectures. These are all pretty short in here. And this is a really great video that kind of explains real directly and in a fun way what the MBTI is about. The first activity here is your attendance activity. Again, make sure you watch the instructions, and this is where you're going to be taking the 16 personalities, and you click here to take the type finder. Those are all done online, okay? So you don't have to print anything out for those. The next thing you're going to be doing is looking over the lecture about the MBTI and the domains and the other applications. So I have a quick reference here of what each of those letters mean. So for the MBTI, you're going to have a 4-letter code. Both the type finder and the Trulicity assessment are going to be giving you a code. I believe the 16 personalities gives you a hyphenated code as well. I don't really care about that, but you could put it in there. Then I've split the lectures into 2 little videos where I'll talk about each of those domains. So in one of them, I'm going to be talking about extroversion and introversion, and what we call sensing and intuition. And then in the next video, I'm going to be talking about thinking versus feeling, and then judging versus perceiving. And then I have some helpful websites here. And this is kind of like the second part of the first video where in Wellcast they talk about what the MBTI is. Here they talk about it, about how to be productive in school based off of your 4-letter type. Then we have a couple activities. I try to make them fun activities. This one is the Simpsons type. Again, this is really for fun, but I think what students mostly get out of these activities is to develop a language and how to talk about your personality as a skill which you're going to be using for your resumes, okay? So it's really important for you to develop that vocabulary and how to talk about yourself. The next one is the MBTI in work situations. So this is going to be a handout where you're going to download and you're going to look at each of the 8 boxes and decide, okay, this is what these types of, if you're introverted, this is what you would like to do, for example, at work. So this applies the MBTI directly to a work environment. So it's really important you do that. And then you have your personalized project, and that's called My Personalities, okay? So make sure you watch the video instructions and you understand that you need to, I always stress this, but a lot of students don't do it. In question 1, you need to review the results. So that means you have to say what you got for each of those assessments, okay? What was your code? What was your color? What was your animal, okay? Make sure you do that because a lot of students lose points because they don't do that part. And that's all you're going to be doing for this week. And when you get to this part, you've finished another module.